Welcome to day 347 of the New Way. Yesterday we asked the question, why didn't these followers of Jesus recognize him? And why has everyone he talked with had trouble recognizing him? I've heard a lot of theories about this. They weren't expecting to see him, so they didn't recognize him. They were in too much grief to even notice him. But I think that if you've lived with someone for 3 years, you would recognize them. I'll reread Luke 24:13 through 16. Now that same day, 2 of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. I suppose God could have blinded their eyes, because God can do anything. But I think the best clue as to what is happening is found elsewhere in the Bible. Let me read for you 1 Corinthians 15:35 through 44. But someone will ask, how are the dead raised? With what kind of body will they come? How foolish! What you sow does not come to life unless it dies. When you sow, you do not plant the body that will be, but just a seed, perhaps of wheat or of something else. But God gives it a body as he has determined, and to each kind of seed he gives its own body. Not all flesh is the same. People have one kind of flesh, animals have another, birds another, and fish another. There are also heavenly bodies, and there are earthly bodies. But the splendor of the heavenly bodies is one kind, and the splendor of the earthly bodies is another. The sun has one kind of splendor, the moon another, and the stars another, and star differs from star in splendor. So will it be with the resurrection of the dead. The body that is sown is perishable. It is raised imperishable. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. If there is a natural body, there is also a spiritual body. The Apostle Paul is writing about what our resurrected bodies will be like. He says our resurrected bodies won't be just like our earthly bodies. They will be much, much better. You know that when you plant an acorn, you get an oak tree. They don't look the same. We talked about death for a follower of Jesus on day 157. I described for you a model of self being carried to heaven by the Holy Spirit, leaving the physical body behind. And I mentioned that we would be given a new body. Yay! But our self lives for all eternity. In this passage, 1 Corinthians 15:35 through 44, Paul talks about different kinds of bodies in God's creation. Then he describes the new body by contrasting it to the old physical body. The phrase "is sown" is referring to a seed being planted. He is saying that we plant or bury a physical body, and we get a spiritual body. What is the first difference between the physical body and the new body? That's found in 1 Corinthians 15:42. So will it be with the resurrection of the dead. The body that is sown is perishable. It is raised imperishable. We've talked before that perishable means breaking down and becoming unusable, like perishable food. It rots and we throw it away. Or it could mean dying and decaying, like getting old. So this tells you that the new supernatural body will never die or wear out or get old or unusable. What does it mean in 1 Corinthians 5:43 that our physical body is represented by dishonor or weakness? 1 Corinthians 15:43, it is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power. It could refer to blemishes and flaws, crippling conditions or scars, or the effects of disease and the stress of this life. Or it could refer to the disgusting smells that the body produces just in the normal digestion of food. We spend a lot of money trying to cover up the natural smells of our physical body. Or it could refer to parts of the body that we keep covered from the eyes of others because it brings shame. Apparently, our new body will be wonderful and powerful. Cool. And finally, we see in 1 Corinthians 15:44 that our physical body is natural, while our new body is supernatural. I think that means our physical body now must obey all the natural laws, like the laws of gravity or motion and energy, etc. But our new body will be supernatural. Think for just a minute about what that will be like. What supernatural powers do you think you will have? So let's get back to why didn't the followers of Jesus recognize him? I think it was because he was in his supernatural new body. We'll talk more about this next time. In his service, Dale.